Hey everyone, this is Olu and Nathan from Beckley Rose Academy. On this episode, we thought it would be a good idea just to share our why we decided to start up this business, and why we decided to do a partnership. But before we get started, if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And as you're going through the video, don't forget to like. So let's get started. I think this is a good education for everyone. Why don't you just let us know who you are and then why you started this business?
Cool. So, hi everyone. As Olu said, so I'm Nathan, the Rose of Beckley Rose. So why I started the business, really good question. So there's a couple of reasons behind that, really. I think at the time when I started getting into property, I always knew that property was kind of the way to go for generational wealth, financial freedom, having cash flow. I always had that in the back of my mind for a number of years, but I think it really kind of dawned on me once I started kind of having a family, really. So getting married a number of years ago, having now two young children under 3. I think it really dawned on me that I needed to have another form of income. I wanted to leave a legacy for my wife, my children. So it really kind of sped up the process for me, really, in terms of getting into property. And it was just about, okay, how do I go about doing this? I guess the second reason for me really was just about being able to create some more flexibility in my job role at that time. I just wanted to have a bit more freedom. I knew that property could generate a level of cash flow, a level of passive income in order to give me some more flexibility. And I think being married, having 2 young children under the age of 3, spending time with them was vitally important for me. It's one of my key values in order to be able to spend time with my family. And what I didn't want for the next 30, 40, 50 years is how my current situation has been in regards to getting up very early in the morning, doing a 2-hour commute to and from work, not really being able to spend the time with my family as I wanted. So I knew that property was going to be the avenue for me to create that flexibility in terms of what I wanted my future to look like.
Cool. I think on my side, I'm not going to repeat because I think it's pretty much similar to Nathan in terms of the flexibility was a big factor for why I wanted to start this business. Generational wealth. I'm not married and I don't have kids yet, but I thought prior to before I get married and have those kids, I wanted to spend a few years to just work really hard, because especially when you start off a new company, there's a lot of hard work up front. So I thought this is the best time for me to start it. And the last point was just really a new challenge. We decided to do a partnership, right? So
we did. For some odd reason, we did decide to do that.
We decided. Do you remember that conversation when we said we should consider going halves on a business?
Yeah, I do very much remember that conversation. So for those who know myself and Olu, for us to create a business together and for it to still be in business is a huge success. Everyone always calls us a married couple because we're constantly arguing. It's constantly back and forth between the two of us. He annoys me, I annoy him. So when we spoke to each other on that initial telephone call to say we should set this business up together, actually, there wasn't really, I don't even really think we kind of discussed any specifics. As soon as I remember, I believe you had mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
And immediately I was just like, yeah, let's go for it. And I remember you saying, look, if you're serious about this and we want to do this like properly, and you're fully committed to it, then let's do it. And I was like, yeah, there wasn't really any questions asked. We kind of just said, yeah, let's do it. We'll arrange a meeting and we'll just go from there.
Exactly. I think a lot of people get emotional or selfish when it comes to business, and they say, no, I want 100% of everything, right? And I always use the analogy that 100% of zero is still zero, right? So by having this partnership, I think for me it was easy. I saw Nathan's drive, especially in the property space and learning and getting the education element. I at that time I think I just received a bonus from work. So I said, okay, I know I want to use this money towards property. So I said, look, Nathan's got the understanding, he's got the drive, he's got the passion, and he's someone that I can easily work with. So he's not someone that's afraid to challenge me. And it's never really an emotional conversation, right? If he agrees or disagrees with me, we just pull it out on the table and we just move forward from there. So I think for our listeners, why would they, because I think we've discussed why we wanted to do a partnership, but why would some people consider doing partnerships, right? And what should they look for in a partner?
So there's an old African proverb which says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And it's a really pertinent proverb, really, because property is not a quick fix, far from it. It's a very long journey. And actually being able to have somebody who can keep you accountable along that journey is, for me, one of the most pivotal things and the most important aspects of having a business partner. I kind of reflecting on kind of a year back now, I think in regards to how far we have come together in regards to this business. And if I was to do this on my own, I would not be in the same position that I would be in now, far from it. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say that you cannot do a business on your own, but if you can have somebody that you can work with, that you can trust, that you can bounce ideas off, it's going to only support you. It's going to keep you accountable, and it's going to probably help you reach your goals more efficiently.
Because I remember certain times where we would have our weekly catch-ups, and knowing that I had to join that call without doing something on my to-do list holds you accountable. For sure. If you're doing it by yourself, sometimes you can lose that motivation, you can lose that drive, you can get just overwhelmed with life. But having a partner, like you mentioned, keeps you accountable. Another one I would say is I hear a lot of people saying that they don't have the finance to start up a business, right? So another motivation for why you could look for a partner is you could look for a partner who might have more capital but less time, right? So if you, with any partnership, it's just like marriage, right? Everyone has to bring something into that relationship. So if you're adding value, maybe by your knowledge, your understanding, you might know deal sourcing, you might know how to do rent to rent, but you don't have the capital. The other person that has the capital will be more than happy to partner with you if they don't have the time and knowledge. So that could be another reason.
No, I'd fully agree with that. And just to add to that, I that was very much the situation that I was in. So I had the time per se. I had although I work long days and I've got a lot of commute, my job role itself is very flexible. So I had the flexibility in my job role to be able to pursue certain things in property and certain actions. Now, however, what I didn't have is the capital to start the business. And although it's interesting because my initial mindset was, let me just, yes, I don't have the capital, but I will put some money aside, I'll save, and I'll go, and I'll put some money aside, I'll save, and I'll eventually be able to start things. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying before. Actually, that would have taken me a long time to get to where I needed. And actually being able to have a business partner who had the capital, but maybe not had as much time as I had, it was a perfect partnership to bring those two together.
And it's also because you had just started a family at that particular time, right? So the bills and the responsibility and commitment to starting a family obviously is important, right? I would say from the other side, right, if you do have the capital and you're saying, oh, I could just do it myself, just realize that you're saving yourself so many mistakes. So by having someone that knows, Nathan has taken multiple training, mentorships with experts in the area. Like if I had started by myself, I would have just wasted a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And just to follow on that, I would just say that if you don't have the capital, like Olu's just mentioned, also ask yourself the question, what is it that you are going to bring to the table?
Mm.
Yeah, because it's not just a thing, oh, I don't have the capital, so I'll find somebody who has the capital so we can start the business. That is not the best relationship or the best way to start a joint venture with a business partner, because you also need to be bringing something to the table. And I'm sure we'll touch on the different aspects of what each of us bring to the business, but that's very important that you are also bringing something to the business as well.
For sure. Also, I would say it's very important, especially when you're selecting a partner, to be aligned in terms of your goals and expectation for the business. That's one thing Nathan and I frequently, I think right at the beginning, we said, what is your goal for this company? What is my goal for the company? What do we want to achieve in the short term, long term? And this is something that is definitely not fixed over a year, 2 years, 5 years, but you want to have a partnership with someone that you can sit down with and you can completely align. Otherwise, the company is just going to be going on multiple directions. So I would say that's also a key part of finding a partner, making sure you align on goals. So a lot of people will say, okay, now I understand. So the reason why I need a partner is for accountability. Maybe there's something that I'm missing or not able to do by myself to start the company. So I might have the knowledge and the time, but I might not have the finance, vice versa. And also making sure that you're aligned in terms of goals. But how do you find a partner? So where do you look? Is there like a special yellow book that yellow pages that you can look into?
Um, Good question. So the first thing I would say is let people know what you're up to and what you're doing, because that was actually one of the things that I was doing. So although I was never looking for a business partner as such, but I would often speak to Olu in regards to, I'm going to this training, or I've been to this meeting, or I've just learned this, I've been reading this book. And actually just having those discussions, it piqued Olu's interest in regards to, oh, Nathan's been doing this, let me find out a bit more about it myself.
Yeah.
And then we realize, oh, actually we're both aligned in regards to where we need to go. But if people don't know what you're doing, then it's going to be very difficult for you to find a partner who's also aligned with your same ideas. So speak to family members, speak to friends, let people know that you're interested in this particular industry. Let them realize the passion that you have for it, and then people will almost find you as opposed to you needing to find people.
Totally agree. I totally agree with that. I think the other way you could find is, I'm not a fan of cold, like messaging people to be partners if they don't really know you. So I'll say, if you want to get yourself out there more and let people know what you do and can take you seriously, is going to networking events, right? If you're going to networking events and you're going there clued on, knowing your stuff, being prepared, asking a lot of questions, saying, you could go to a property meeting and say, hey, I found this particular deal. Would anyone like to look at it, review it, etc.? You'll find out how easy it will be to find a partner doing that, just by putting yourself out there. And I think a lot of people sort of protect their dreams, and no one can help you if they don't know what you're aspiring to do or achieve. So I think that is the biggest thing, right? Networking and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So I hope this video helped. We covered why we started the business. We covered why we decided to do a partnership and what is important when finding a partner. And lastly, we touched upon how you can find a partner. So if that's going to networking groups, or even just putting yourself out there, letting people know what you do, you'll see how important that is and how successful that can be.
All right, so that's everything from us, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the video. Please drop a comment if you've got any questions, or if you've got any topics that you want us to discuss, then please also add it to the comments, and we'll be producing videos over the coming weeks. So we'll make sure that we can try and cover as much as we can for you guys. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. And yeah, we'll see you again in our next video. Take care, guys.
Beckley Rose Property Solutions, the master key of property management.